Also covering this crisis, Mississippi Free Press reporter Ashton Pittman. Ashton, this didn't just happen, clearly. You've been covering this story for a while now. Jackson's water system has been in crisis for years. So what do you make of where we are now? Do you think this had to happen on such a wide scale so people would start paying attention and actually do something about Jackson?
Well, I hate to think it had to, but it seems like that's, where we're at, because this has been going on for decades. Even, going back to the 1970s, people knew that there were issues and that the water system needed upgrades. And so this is just an issue that has festered in the years, especially since desegregation and white flight out of Jackson, which left the city economically devastated. And so this is an issue we have seen for decades, and people have been talking about it. Activists have been talking about it. Just people in the community have been talking about it for a long time. But there hasn't been the money, and often, over a period of decades, the Mississippi legislature, anytime it's come to things that where Jackson was having crises or, underfunding, it's almost kind of frequently been said, Jackson needs to figure out how to fix this problem on its own. Now, the legislature has of course helped Jackson because, it's the capital is Jackson, but there has not been, until this point, and at this point, it's still not happening. There hasn't been an effort to really get the resources to fix this problem. What's happening right now is an effort to fix this acute crisis so that people can at least have water, running water, even if they have to boil it afterward. But what we're talking about, the efforts going on right now are not to address the underlying issue. They're just to put a Band-Aid on this absolute crisis where people can't even bathe or drink or brush their teeth or give their pets water.
So as a reporter who's covered this, and you live in the state, the EPA says that Mississippi failed to address the water system. You're bringing up clearly the environmental racism. You're talking about a community that's more than 80% black, although there are many leaders that are black that have cried out about this for years. Where does the fault lie, do you think? I mean, it's not like the problems weren't there and people talked about the problems, and even when floodwaters came through, they saw how the plant would overflow, and then there would be issues with brown water and you couldn't drink that and you had to boil it. It's like, this is nothing new. It's just reached a point where now it's all over the news because it's gotten so bad. So I guess my question is, who do you think is to really blame here, considering everyone's pointing the finger now?
I think there's a lot of blame to go around when it comes to the this current acute crisis in the moment. There are criticisms of the city and of the city for not doing things like making sure the water treatment plant had proper staffing. But there's also the fact that the state knew in 2021 we had an acute crisis then after the winter freeze in which people didn't have reliable water for a month. And there were no, legislative committees that gathered after that to say, hey, we need to figure out, as a state, what to do about helping our capital city. That there wasn't a real effort put into making this a focus. We did get some federal money from President Biden's infrastructure bill that the legislature appropriated for Jackson, but the total for water in Mississippi was about $430 million for the whole state. And so the legislature appropriated this money across the state to other cities and towns, and Jackson ended up with, I think, about 20 million. Jackson needs about 1 to possibly 1.7 billion to fix this issue, to really fix this issue. So there's a lot of blame to go around, and a lot of it, again, goes back decades to past leaders, and it's just kind of been passed on. This is a problem that's been passed on and has grown. So it's hard to just point the finger in one place.
Right. So I'm curious, what are you going to be following now, looking toward the future? And, okay, where do they even begin? Do they start, fixing things with a Band-Aid? Do they completely tear the plan apart and start reworking ground up? I mean, what do you think is going to happen now, and what are you going to be looking for and covering moving forward?
So I don't, I really don't know. I know that right now the issue is getting these two pumps fixed. There's a big question about whether it's going to be a real effort to really to address this issue going forward, to really fix the underlying problem so this doesn't happen again, or if it's going to be another Band-Aid like in 2021. And then after, we're just going to deal with, boil water notices for a while, but not actually address the root cause until this happens again. And, rinse, repeat, if you can rinse, honestly.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ashton Pittman, I'm going to be looking to you to be challenging those in charge and exposing and writing and digging into this, and stay in touch with us. We want to know what's going to happen.
All right. Thank you very much. We will.
Ashton Pittman, appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.